Hello and welcome back. You might hear a bit of wind. And I have to project my voice a bit more. Mm. It's a beautiful time when you can just take a moment to yourself and just enjoy some of the things that most of us take for granted. Seasons are changing. People change, we are changing. Individually, we're changing collectively. Hmm. Hmm. You know, just sitting here, standing here, you really don't feel any kind of problem. I mean, a problem is only there if you bring it with you. Once you label something as a problem, difficulty arises. It can put a certain spin on your situation, a certain kind of a heaviness by labeling something as a problem, something that doesn't necessarily need to be there, adds some dimension to your experience here. But a lot of times, when you categorize something as a problem, it's going to change how you go about dealing with the situation you find yourself in. Your state of consciousness will shift slightly. One of acceptance and just calm, you being more open, becomes more closed, becomes a little bit more choosy. You become a separate part. Something needs to be fixed, is the feeling you have. Not that it's a bad thing. Let's say you find yourself in a situation where your car breaks down. That's obviously something that needs to be taken care of, especially if you find yourself far from home, in the middle of winter maybe. So you can add things to your situation, which adds weights to your problems. And there's nothing wrong with dealing with life's situations, but the risk is that when you label something as a problem, then there becomes a certain type of negativity that you carry with you that's not necessarily helpful for the situation itself. In a situation of example of car breaking down, you might find anger is now your companion. You might say to yourself, I am pissed the fuck off. I really don't like the situation, and if there's somebody around you, you may be dumping that everywhere. And that's fine. I think it's important to express yourself, but I think if you're expressing yourself in a way that's unconscious, you're not aware that here you are, you're feeling this, and it's coming out. If you're just identified with your anger, is what I'm trying to say, then it becomes a fragment in you that becomes strengthened. When you identify with your anger, I hate this type of words and Sorry about the all the wind. So when you identify as something, the sensation, the feeling of this is happening to me will amplify the negativity you feel, or positivity. If you're feeling something, anything that you feel that you identify with is happening to me, whether it's positive or negative, it's going to amplify it in your experience. So oftentimes we forget to enjoy the little things, and when we find ourselves in those situations where, again, using the example of the car breaking down, we forget that there's all these other things, these good things that's happening around us. We forget to breathe. Sometimes we forget to just, okay. And that simple in and out breath a lot of times can not, it's not going to completely clear the anger away, but it brings you back to yourself. It takes you away from the story that this is happening to me. You can put that aside for a second, and then you can start taking proper steps to get yourself out of a situation that's, not very good. Middle of winter, car breaking down, far from home. You could die. You might want to take care of that. So as the world changes, as we're changing, as things around us change, remember that it's not going to do us any good to identify with what it is we're feeling, that just taking a simple breath, you might say something in the situation you find yourself in that you'll thank yourself for later. You might act in a manner that you'll thank yourself later. And that's the whole point of this video that I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to say don't express yourself when you feel anger. It's just to recognize, okay, I'm overwhelmed with this emotion right now. And sometimes just separating yourself quickly, using your breath, touching a surface often helps, brings you back into the here and the now. As they say, come to your senses. So in these moments, to simply come to your senses has great value. So I'll leave you with that. Wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is that you're watching this video, thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace.